So just 2 days ago, we saw the biggest trade of the offseason. Nolan Arenado was traded to the St. Louis Cardinals. So in today's video, we're going to do these MLB teams must trade for Trevor Story. Now that it looks like the Colorado Rockies are heading towards that rebuild scenario, we're going to draw up some trades for Trevor Story to go to a different team, because if we're being honest, it does not look like at all that the Rockies will be competing in 2021. And I've said on this channel quite a few times that I don't think they would be, even if they had Nolan Arenado. So yeah, they're in a tough division for them, and they're not going to win that division, and they're going to be in a rough spot for a long time, it seems like, because their farm system, it's pretty good, but I still don't think they're going to be better than the Padres or the Dodgers. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. But before we get into this video, 68% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Get your life together, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a like. Subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a like. And let's go ahead and get into this video. Now on this trade, we're going to be looking at a similar player with Francisco Lindor, a player that only has one more year on his contract. So who knows if Trevor Story will re-sign with any of these teams mentioned in today's video. But we're going to look at that trade where the Mets ended up getting Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco, where Cleveland ended up getting Andres Jimenez, Ahmed Rosario, who were like their shortstop replacements there, and Josh Wolf and Isaiah Green. So they get kind of what they needed there. Obviously, the Rockies have different needs than the Cleveland baseball team, and the Rockies could definitely use a shortstop back. They could use some pitching, some ready-now pitching to still try to help them compete. So let's look at Trevor Story's stats over the last couple of years. 2011 draft pick, overall pick 45, so he was in the second round. 2020 stats look pretty dang good, if we're being honest. 11 home runs, 28 RBIs, 15 stolen bases, so he can run too. 289 average and a 874 OPS. So 2019 at 35 home runs, 85 RBIs, and a 294 batting average. In 2018, 37 home runs, 108 RBIs, and a 291 batting average. He's going to hit for a higher average. If it wasn't really for his 2017 season, then he would probably have a little bit of a higher average for his career, where he hit 239 with 24 home runs and 82 RBIs. Overall in his MLB career, 134 home runs, RBIs, 375 and 277 average, with a 877 OPS. So his OPS is pretty high for what you would want. Two-time All-Star, once in 2018 and once in 2019. Two-time NL Silver Slugger, so that's good too. He can have some injuries from time to time, which is very concerning. He didn't have any injuries in 2020, though. So, yeah. I know people are going to get on the Coors effect. I know that's what everybody wants to say with Coors Field players. But except average, if we're going off like home runs and RBIs, Trevor Story hit better on the road with 6 home runs, 15 RBIs compared to 5 home runs and 13 RBIs at home. He hit about the same from each, 333 average at home compared to 246 on the road. And most of his damage came in August. So, yeah. But he is a lot better. I mean, he's decent versus both, where left-handed and right-handed pitching, where he had 5 home runs, 9 RBIs, and a 328 batting average versus left-handed pitching. He absolutely tears up left-handed pitching. And he does pretty well versus right-handed pitching, too. 6 home runs, 19 RBIs, and a 275 batting average. Trevor Story is one of the overall best third basemen in the game. Is he the best third baseman in the game? No. Francisco Lindor probably has that spot. But Trevor Story is a very, very good third baseman, and he could be the next blockbuster trade that we end up seeing this offseason. So let's go ahead and get into the trades now. We've talked about Trevor Story's stats and what probably they're going to get back into a trade similar to like a Francisco Lindor trade package. So our first team that we'll be drawing up a trade for is the St. Louis Cardinals, who did end up getting Nolan Arenado. The Cardinals in this trade would get Trevor Story, obviously. The Rockies would get Paul DeJong, Tony Locey, a right-handed pitcher, the number 19 prospect for the Cardinals, ETA is 2021. Alex Reyes, a right-handed pitcher, and Lane Thompson, outfielder. So you get some good assets in this trade. Paul DeJong, I'm pretty sure, has more years on his contract than Trevor Story, and we know that he's not a necessarily well, he's not a better shortstop than Trevor Story, but still, he is under team control through 2025. And that's the big deal here. You get him for more years, and he's probably still maybe a top 10 shortstop in the game, and he's going to absolutely hit a ton of home runs in Coors Field. Tony Losey, he's their number 19 prospect, who has not been too good in his short stint in the minor leagues so far with a over 5 ERA. And that was only in single A, so that's very concerning there. But maybe he could be better in Colorado. Colorado is where pitchers go to really just not be very good. He was drafted in the third round of the 2019 draft, so he hasn't had a ton of time with the Cardinals so far. Had a couple injuries in 2019. I mean, 2019 was a season to forget for him, where he hit 1 and 2 with a 5.29 ERA. This was only in 12 games, so it was more of a short sample size, if we're being honest. But still, that's kind of concerning numbers there, if we're being honest. Now, Lane Thomas, he is a player that is ready now, just like pretty much close to all of these players except Tony Losey, who was just in single A. So pretty much all ready now players here in an outfield that could make an impact. 1 home run, 2 RBIs, and a 111 batting average. I know you're going to say that's terrible stats. Like, he doesn't have that much of trade value, and you're right, because the Cardinals have a stacked outfield where Dylan Carlson's in that outfield. Harrison Bader's in that outfield. They have got so many different outfields. And next and final piece here is Alex Reyes, who used to be one of the top prospects in all of Major League Baseball. But injuries really held him back from that. And he could be really, really good for this Rockies team, whether it's coming out of the bullpen or whether it's starting. So he could be one of the sneaky big pickups in this trade. I mean, it's really just the injuries for Alex Reyes. He had a decent 2020 season, 2-1 with a 3.20 ERA, 15 games, 1 started. He didn't have a bad 2020 season at all, and he could be a pretty good asset in this trade, the sneaky player in this trade. That could be very good for the Rockies, even though pitchers don't usually pitch very well in Colorado. Next trade idea is with the Minnesota Twins trade here. The Twins would get Trevor Story, and the Rockies would get Jorge Polanco, Christian Javier, the number 9 prospect for the Minnesota Twins, Cole Sands, a right-handed pitcher, and Dakota Chalmer, a right-handed pitcher. So for this Twins team, they are more of a team that uses players, homegrown players, as they call it. Players that have been on their team for most of their career. They won the AL Central in 2020 with a 36-24 overall record. They have lost every free agent that has went somewhere else this offseason. Eddie Rosario went to Cleveland. Matt Whistler went to San Francisco. Trevor May went to New York, which will be a big loss in their bullpen. But they still could sign Nelson Cruz. They have some good prospects here that could definitely be in this trade, but I don't think won't end up being in this potential trade here with Alex Kirilloff, Royce Lewis, Trevor Larnach, Ryan Jeffers, and more. But their starting lineup, their biggest weakness here is their shortstop position. They did sign Andrelton Simmons, but it's still their biggest weakness here. And if they could get a shortstop like Trevor Story, that makes them instantly a ton better, even though they do need pitching. And Fangraphs just does not have good projections for them in 2021. So they have a decent starting rotation, still needs a couple more players along with their relief pitching. Their relief pitching is probably their biggest problem right now. Overall for the Rockies, this is not a great package here, but you're not going to get the greatest package ever because he only has 1 year left on his contract, and you're going to have to pay him. And who knows if he'll re-sign with a team like Minnesota, St. Louis. Who knows? But overall, I think this is a pretty good package for the Rockies. It's not great, but it's decent. Next is the Miami Marlins. The Marlins would get Trevor Story and Kyle Freeland here. The Rockies would get Lewin Diaz, the number 8 prospect for the Marlins, a first baseman. His ETA is to be up at 2021. These are already now players, though. Nick Nadert, a right-handed pitcher, ETA is 2021. Jose Devers, a shortstop, his ETA is 2021. So you get ready now players here, and you would probably maybe even want another player in this trade. I don't know if you would want another player in this trade. But if you're thinking here, this is not a bad trade to look at if you're the Rockies. You get your first baseman for the future, which the first base position for them has been a big need over the last few seasons, along with Nick Nadert, who could be a good arm, and Jose Devers, who could potentially He's obviously their number 13 prospect, but he could potentially be your replacement for Trevor Story if Brandon Rogers is not. Oh, I was going to do this before the video, but let's go ahead and rule out some teams that do not need a shortstop here. The Padres, their current shortstop is Fernando Tatis Jr. Mets, current shortstop, Francisco Lindor. Astros, current shortstop, Carlos Correa. Nationals, current shortstop, Trey Turner. Yankees, current shortstop, Gleyber Torres. And Red Sox, current shortstop is Xander Bogaerts. So those 6 teams really do not need a shortstop. So next is the Reds trade, and I don't really see a trade getting done with the Reds here. It just does not make legitimate sense because they're looking to be rebuilding, and it just does not make a ton of sense for a 1-year rental here. So here's my drawn up trade. Trevor Story and Kyle Freeland go to the Reds for Jose Garcia, who will be up in 2021. Tony Santillanino, a right-handed pitcher, his ETH 2021. Noah Davis, his ETH 2022. And Case Williams, right-handed pitcher, ETH 2024. Jose Garcia could definitely be your shortstop replacement here. Tony Santillan could be a good right-handed arm, and you get some other right-handed arms here, and that's a pretty good trade if we're being honest. You get 4 top 30 prospects here from the Reds, and for the Reds here, you obviously get your shortstop, which they've been looking for shortstop all offseason. Does the Trevor Story seem that realistic? No, but you get Kyle Freeland here too, who could be very good for your team and has shown potential in previous outings. Next is the Dodgers, and I know you're going to say that the rumors have came out that the Rockies simply will not trade with the Dodgers, but if the Dodgers give them a good enough package, I bet they will, and the Dodgers will get Trevor Story and Kyle Freeland, and the Rockies will get Bobby Miller, right-handed pitcher, ETH 2023. I'm pretty sure they just drafted him in the 2020 draft. I could be wrong, though. Jacob Amaya, a shortstop, ETH 2022. Landon Knack, a right-handed pitcher, ETH 2022. And Jimmy Lewis, a right-handed pitcher, ETH 2023. You get a lot of arms here. I know there is a risk of trading in division, and you could obviously move Corey Seager over to third base with this trade, which could make some sense if they don't re-sign Justin Turner. If they do sign Justin Turner, then this is really out of the realm of possibilities. But I still think it's very unlikely that the Dodgers trade for Trevor Story. Now, let's go ahead and predict where Story will go if one of these 5 teams are really in the race for a Trevor Story. Cardinals trade. It is a good package here. I'm going to go ahead and rule off the Dodgers. I don't think they're trading in division. The Reds here, they have a good package. Marlins have a good package. I'm going to rule out the Twins next. I don't really think he's going to the Twins. I just don't see it. I don't think you would have signed Andrelton Simmons if you didn't plan for him to at least be your starting shortstop. So we've ruled out the Twins and the Dodgers. Now we're down to the Reds, Marlins, and Cardinals here. And next team I'm going to rule out is, I think it's going to be the Reds. I do like the package of the Reds. I just don't think it's in the best idea of their team. So it's now between the Marlins and the Cardinals, and I think he's going to St. Louis with the Cardinals. With Nolan Arenado already being traded there, I think this package really can get it done here with Paul DeJong, Tony Locey, Alex Reyes, and Lane Thomas. I think that package can get it done. There could be another team that easily sneaks in here and ends up trading for Trevor Story. But as of right now, and these 5 trades actually or realistically happen, which I doubt I can get every piece right, but if I could, that'd be really cool. But yeah, I think he goes to St. Louis with the Cardinals, where Nolan Arenado has already went. So that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. 68% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Get your life together, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a like. Thank you for watching, and peace.